Hi fourth graders, welcome to our math class. Today we're going to learn about lowest common multiple. So this week and last week we've been learning the chapter of fractions, and we did addition and subtraction of two like fractions and two unlike fractions. And in order to do the calculation for unlike fractions, we know that we need to find the lowest common multiple to figure out which denominator we need to use. And in this lesson, we're going to explore more of the lowest common multiples and where we can use them. So let's move on. So this is our homework for today. And let's look at number 1. So here it's asking us to list first 5 non-zero multiples of each denominator. So let's write them down. So to find out non-zero multiples, we're going to manually multiply 6 with 1, which is 6 times 6, which is 6, and 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 4 is 24. And it told us to write down 5, so I'm gonna write down my last multiple of 6, which is 30. And I'm going to do the same for 4, which is 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. Next is 16. And my last one is 20. And my number 2 is asking me to circle the least common multiple. So that means I need to circle the lowest number they have in common. So that's going to be 12 because it has 12 here and 4 has 12 too. And this is the first multiple, the lowest, the smallest number. So I'm going to highlight these. Then number 3, how is the least common multiple, which is 12, used to solve this problem? The number 12 becomes the common denominator. The common denominator. So we use it as a denominator. Or the fraction are renamed by multiplying. Or do we multiply number 12 with our fractions? When we look at this part, we know that we never multiply any number with 12. But we know that number 12 is used for the denominator. So this is the right answer. Number 4, why is 2 over 6 multiplied by 2 over 2? And 3 over 4 is multiplied 3 over 3. So let's look at this. Why are they multiplied with different numbers? It's because we're trying to make it the same denominator. So in order to make 4 to 12, we know that we need to multiply by 3. However, it's different for number 6 because this is a greater number, so we don't need to multiply as much as 4. So number 1, fractions are renamed by multiplying by a fractional name for 1. Or this will give equivalent fractions with denominators of 12. Which one is correct? The second one. Because by multiplying this number, we know that we'll get 12. And for number 5 through 10, we're going to do the same thing. This is just addition and subtraction of two unlike fractions. And we know that we need to remember that the first step is finding the lowest common multiple. And for number 11 to 12, we are just going to add, we need to look at the rule and we're going to do the calculation. So let's do number 11 together. So for number 11, we know that we just need to add 1 over 2 with the given number. And we know that we have the same denominator, so we don't need to worry about renaming. I'm going to keep my denominator the same. and it's 2 over 2. However, here, the question is asking us to put it in lowest terms. So we know that 2 over 2 is not the lowest term. So I'm going to rename it, and it's going to be 1. Then what about second one? So I'm going to take it over here. So we're going to add 1 over 4 with 1 over 2. However, they have different denominator. So I'm going to rename the fraction. And the lowest common multiple they have in common is 4. So I'm going to keep this number as it is because this is already in 4. However, I'm going to change my second fraction, and to make this 4, we know that we need to multiply this number by 2. And when we multiply the denominator, we know that we need to multiply the numerator too. So now they both have the same denominator, and 2 times 1 is 2. Now they have the same denominator. All we need to do is adding the numerator. So the answer will be 3 over 4. Then what about this question? This one has no fraction. So it's a very simple question. You don't need to worry about changing this into fraction, because all you need to do is just put the whole number here into the fraction. That's going to be the answer. Okay? So I want you to do number 11, 12, 13 on your own. And let's go to the next page. For number 1 through 4, this is the same as previous homework, which is subtraction, addition of 2 unlike fractions. And this one is estimate. So I'm going to give you 2 options if you want to just round this. So let me show you number 5. So we know that 6 over 8 is more than half. And when it's greater than 5, we need to round the number. So because this is greater than half, I'm going to round it and make it 5. And this one is lower than 5, which means it's less than half. So I'm going to just round up and make it 2. And I just need to add these 2 numbers, which is 7. This is going to be your estimate. So if you want to do estimate, you may do estimate. If you don't want, then you can just go ahead and do the calculation. So let's move down to word problems. Mr. Winstead's toolbox has 1,600 screws. He has divided them evenly into 40 piles. How many screws will be in each pile? This is division question. And Mr. Winstead has 1,600 screws, and he's going to put this into 40 piles. And we're going to divide now. When we look at these 2 numbers, they have too much zero. So I'm going to cancel out my 0 first. When I cancel out my 0 here, then we need to remember that we need to cancel out a 0 from here too. Now all we need to worry about is these 2 numbers. How many 4 can go into 16? So let's just focus on these 2 numbers. And how many 4 can go into 16? 4 times. And we just need to put 0 here, and the answer is 40. And screws. Don't forget to label. Okay, number 9. I'm not going to do every single question with you. I'm just going to tell you how to do these questions, and the rest is up to you. The choir at Falls Road School sold 800 orders for their annual Valentine balloon sale. There are 20 students in the choir. How many orders did each student sell if each sold the same number? So in total, they sold 800. And there were 20 students. And this is another division question. They want to figure out how many balloons did each student sell. And number 10, Mrs. Norland used 8 slices of bread to make 4 sandwiches, 2 slices per sandwich. She cut the sandwiches into 4 pieces. How many sandwich pieces did she prepare? This is a tricky question because there are so many numbers and we don't know. Maybe you're confused which number to use. However, this question is actually very simple. So in total, Mrs. Nolan made 4 sandwiches. And then she cut 1 sandwich, so going to dry hair. So she made 4 sandwich and cut 1 sandwich and quarter. And she did the same thing to the other 4 sandwich. Now, how many pieces did she make? This is a multiplication question. Okay, next one. The local radio station received 4,000 toys for their annual Christmas toy drive. The toys will be sent to needy children in 20 countries. How many toys will be sent to each country if the same number is sent to each? So there are 40,000 toys and we're going to share this with 20 countries. And this is another division question. So for number 12 to 17, this is an easy question because all you need to think about is the multiples, non-zero. So you need to start from the number and then multiply the number with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And this is just division question. So that's it for today's lesson and for your homework. If you have any questions, please ask me. And I hope you have fun. So see you later. Bye bye.